Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Mama Ming. In my channel I do a variety of videos about pregnancy, raising a child, motherhood, and all that good jazz. Today's video I want to share my experience starting solid food for my baby. At the time of filming, my baby is currently 8.5 months, almost 9 months old. So in today's video I want to share with you the journey of starting solid food for my baby. And when I first started solid food for my baby, I was so confused, I was so nervous, and watching these videos from the other moms really helped out myself, and I hope this video can be helpful to you as well. Starting solid food seems like an easy task, but it's not easy, especially for first-time moms like me. It's a little bit nerve-wracking because it's the first time the baby is actually not drinking liquid, and there's always a little bit nervousness on the mom side to worry about, oh, what if the baby choked, right? First question is when to start solid food. It may vary from baby to baby. Some baby may start a little bit earlier than the other babies, so generally feed your babies solid food starting from 4 months to 7 months, usually around the 5.5 to like 6 months range, but it really varies from baby to baby. For my baby, I tried to start a little bit at 4 months, but the baby wasn't ready, and my doctor told me that if you started solid food and then the baby wasn't ready, still had the tongue reflex, you may wait for like another week to see how the tongue reflex going on, and maybe try again after a week. How to tell if your baby is ready to start solid food? The first thing to check is whether the baby can swallow the food or they still have the tongue reflex to push the food out of the mouth. So the baby has a natural tongue thrust reflex that pushes the food back out. This is to prevent choking at an early stage of life. So my doctor told me to generally wait until this reflex disappears, and it won't completely disappear at the beginning, but at the beginning, like when I tried a little bit, the baby was not able to swallow at all, but eventually the baby is able to swallow a little bit, at the same time has a little bit of the tongue thrust. It really varies from baby to baby. Some baby, their tongue thrust, the reflex disappear around 5 months. Some baby, their tongue thrust, they disappear around after 6 months, or even like around 7 months. What my baby just at the beginning was like immediately push everything out, but slowly he will start to swallow a little bit, but then still have a little bit of thrust from time to time. So it really depends on the baby, and it also depends on like the level of that tongue thrust. Second readiness milestone is if the baby is able to support their own head. To eat the solid food, the baby's head shouldn't be like wobbly like this. This is to be able to have their good neck and head control to swallow. And also the baby should be able to sit up without support. This is also something like a little bit different. So my baby wasn't able to sit up all by himself, but when he was sitting in the high chair, he was able to sit up by himself using his arms, and he leaned forward. But if you just take all of the support away, he gets a little bit wobbly. So again, it's a gradual process. At the beginning, the baby was really wobbly, but then slowly he was able to sit up a little bit. Third thing is the baby interested in food? Babies who stare, reach, and grab and open their mouths for food are ready to try solids. So again, it really depends on the baby. Some babies are really interested in food starting at 4 months. Some babies are not interested at all if we can't force the baby to eat. So those are the 3 milestones to meet. Now, the second question is, how should I start feeding my baby solid food. There are different ways of starting solid. You can make the puree and spoon feed the baby. You can try the baby-led weaning method. There are just so many different ways, and there are different food that you can feed the baby, such as the baby cereal, sweet potatoes, avocados, and bananas. There's really not one way to try it. I did so much research. I watched so many videos. I talked to different pediatricians. I have friends who are pediatricians. There's really not one right way to do so. It really depends on your baby. So personally, I try to feed the baby solid food at 4 months and a half. I try to spoon feed a little bit of the banana puree, and the baby had a very strong tongue thrust reflex. So I stopped trying at the 5 months. So after 2 weeks of first try, like after 2 weeks, I was like, okay, let's try again. I spoon fed baby some banana puree. So I basically put some banana and some of my breast milk together and puree them together and spoon fed my baby, and my baby loved it. After that, I tried avocado puree with my breast milk. You can use formula or water or breast milk. I use my breast milk. After 5.5 months, he just like got so mad. He stopped taking the spoon. So it was kind of interesting because at the beginning, like around like 5 months, a little bit over 5 months, I was spoon feeding the baby every single day, and he loved it. And after 2 weeks, he was like, no, I do not want to take any spoon feed anymore. And that's when I had to switch to baby-led weaning method. So it's not really like, oh, I plan to use puree, I plan to use baby-led weaning. It was more of like, depending on my baby. Like, I was loving the puree at the beginning because it's very close to liquid, something he's familiar with. But then he really didn't like when I spoon fed him. He loved independence. So he will eat with his own hands. And that's when I switched from spoon feeding to baby-led weaning method. So, okay, so what are the good food to feed the baby? When you first started, I really recommend banana, avocado, sweet potatoes. Those things are really good. They're like a mesh where it's very easy for the baby to mesh with their gum before the baby had teeth. Well, my baby had teeth, but the baby doesn't know how to chew yet. It was really like mashing and just trying to practice swallowing. It's crazy to think that eating is actually something you learned. It's not something that we naturally just has. Like, we actually teach the baby to eat. We teach them to make these sounds, to mash the food with gums, to swallow the food. So anything that has like that's very mushy is really, really good. And also, if your babies are like mine, who doesn't like to be spoon-fed, baby-led weaning method is something that you give the baby like the actual food, and the baby will pick up the food on their own and put it in his mouth and then mash on the food by themselves. So baby-led weaning actually has several advantages that spoon feeding doesn't have. One of them is being the hand-eye coordination. So if you spoon feed a baby, the baby doesn't get to practice the motor skills of picking small things with their fingers, doesn't have the things to think, oh, where do I put it? Where to look at hand-eye coordination and the coordination between hand, eye, and mouth. So the babies definitely develop more skills using the baby-led weaning method, but it is so messy. My husband absolutely hated it. I had to actually like ask my entire family to have a talk with him to like tell him it's not a bad thing when the baby makes a mess. So my husband literally said like he's traumatized by how messy it is, the whole baby-led weaning method. But that's just a part of the process. It's good for a baby to develop their motor skills this early on with a baby-led weaning method. And honestly, it's easier for the parents. We don't have to spoon feed all the time. We don't have to make the puree, which is when we first started baby-led weaning method, some things that I absolutely recommend to try is avocado, banana, and sweet potatoes. Those things are really, really like soft and mushy. And afterwards, you can try a little bit of the eggs, and that's when I realized my baby has an egg allergy. But most of the babies, they outgrow their egg allergy after 1 to 2 years of age. So hopefully he will outgrow it. But there's certain food that you introduce that you have to watch for allergies, and there are also other food that it's very rare to have allergies to them. Some people, they still have allergies to them, but it's very rare. But food that are more likely to develop allergies like at this age is eggs and cheese, like anything with dairy could have a little bit of allergies to them. Another thing about baby-led weaning is like sometimes we as adults give the baby food that's in our plate. At the beginning, I actually don't recommend it because like there's like a lot of sodium in the food that we eat. When the baby was like first very young at 6 months, it's probably not good for the baby to eat those high sodium food. But once the baby is 9 months old, it's okay to give them table food because they start to need that electrolytes from a little bit of salt and flavoring. So at the beginning, we don't have any seasoning in our food. It's just the food on its own. It's more about the texture, and the baby, they can taste sweet and sour and bitterness, but at an early age they cannot taste like spicy, they cannot taste like salty. Their taste buds are not fully developed yet. So many things you can do with baby-led weaning, but there are also things that you want to avoid. Things you want to avoid is, first of all, corn. The corn kernel, they have choke popcorn, right? And also small, it's easier for the babies to choke on smaller things than bigger things. So at the early stage of life, you want to give baby big chunk of food, so for the baby to like mash on the big food, versus as the baby grow older, you can give baby a little bit smaller food, and so the baby develop like they will chew before they actually swallow the food. It's kind of counterintuitive because we were like, at the beginning, we were like, the baby's small, give them small food so there's no choke. No, like the baby will literally just swallow anything they could, and that is actually choking. If the food is so big that it doesn't fit into the baby's mouth, it means the baby has to mash on it. So other things that we've been giving to the babies is a fish, steamed cauliflower and broccoli. We steam them to the super soft texture for the babies like to pick it up, and we have a little like a salmon strip, and then we steam the salmon. The baby will start to mash on the salmon, like those soft meat. And you can also give baby like some bones to suck on the juice of the bones, just to chew on the bones, especially if the baby is teething. And those are really good ways to start solid food. To avoid, something to watch out is like anything with nuts. We do not recommend peanut butter or any like almond butter to the baby because it's very hard to swallow. It's kind of sticky. Sometimes it gets stuck at the mouth. Even though it's soft, it's very hard to swallow. Cow's milk, nutritionists, they do not recommend cow's milk before 1 year old. Even with that, like with cheese, sometimes you want to be a little bit careful. You want to introduce those allergens as a single food just in case they have allergies, and you want to watch for the baby for an hour or two just in case they develop any allergies. You can act quick. So babies should not have food with added sugars and no calorie sweeteners. So this is super important because if you go ahead to look at the baby food on the counter, a lot of the baby food has added sugar. No, baby should not have food with added sugars or no calorie sweeteners. It should be just natural sweetness, like natural sugar from the fruit. No added sugar, please. Baby should not have honey. You should not have unpasteurized juice, milk, yogurt, or cheese. So I've been giving my baby goat cheese and he's been loving it because it's like a low sodium cheese. It's very creamy, it's soft and easy to swallow and mash. Do not give the baby regular cow's milk or soy beverages before 12 months. It's okay to offer pasteurized yogurt and cheese to the baby if they don't have allergies. And also, it's very important to have your baby sit up in the high chair. It's recommended the baby sit up on the high chair instead of you holding the baby, because when you're holding the baby's doing this and this and this. It's better that the baby just sit up on their own and just eat in peace. Like, it's important to have like a good food hygiene. May wash away nutrients if you use the boiling method. So steaming method is a little bit better. You can also steam some apples. Beginning when you introduce food to the baby, especially those allergens, introduce them as like a single food, and once the baby is okay, the baby shows no allergies to them, it's okay to mix like maybe a little bit of cheese with a little bit that the baby melts. Around the 6 months of age, it's a good time for the baby to try a cup or a straw bottle. At the beginning, my baby liked it, but then he didn't like it again. He went back to the regular bottles. And do not give juice to your infants younger than 12 months. And I actually talked to a pediatrician about it. He said, do not give anything with a ton of sugar to the baby because the baby at the early age cannot regulate their blood sugar. It's not good for the baby. Never give your kids soda. There's absolutely no reason to give your kid like a Coke. Never. It's never a good thing. After the 12 months of age, if the baby has like a little bit of constipation, it's okay to give baby a little bit of the juice or applesauce because the sugar they do help with the constipation, but it's actually better to eat more like fibers. So when it comes to baby food that's packaged food from the store, actually you will be surprised how many bad, like not super healthy food there are in the baby food. All of the brands, they try to sneak in some sort of like added sugar. It's so bad because from my doctor, it literally says, do not give your baby any food with added sugar. And literally it's in the bottle. It says added sugar 2-3 grams. That's a lot for baby food. So if you're wanting like packaged food, there are 2 things that I recommend. So again, I have no affiliation with these things. My baby loves them. That's why I buy them, and they are Being approved. I really believe these are really good ingredients. The first one is from the brand Amara, and this is the organic smoothie melt. This one has absolutely no added sugar. The ingredients is just organic mango, organic coconut milk, organic carrots, and organic lemon juice. And that's it. Yes, there's a little bit of sugar, but it's just the sugar from that mango fruit. There's absolutely no added sugar. It melts in the baby's mouth, and then even adults love it. This is what it looks like. And what I do is at the beginning, my baby's like choking on it, but they will never really choke because it's like a melt. But I will actually use my hand to open it, like to make like split them in 2. There are different flavors, but this one my baby loves is the one that's like mango and carrots. The next one that my baby absolutely loves, and it has really good ingredients as well, is from the brand Serenity Kits. So honestly, I'm super careful with the ingredients in the food, even for myself. I will never give baby anything with like additives, stabilizers, emulsifiers, and bad oil, highly processed oils and stuff like that. So these are the ones from Serenity Kit, are the high quality ingredients. Meat puree. So I bought turkey, chicken, and beef. I alternating these for my baby. Beef with kale and sweet potato, and the chicken one is chicken with peas and carrots. Has like different like ingredients and recipes. So the beef one is grass-fed beef. The chicken one is free-range chicken. It's made with organic vegetables. If you look at the ingredients, it's just organic sweet potato, grass-fed beef, water, and organic kale. This one is organic peas, organic carrots, organic free-range chicken, water, and organic olive oil. They only use good oil. They don't use any like highly processed canola oil, like fructose syrup. Like, it was crazy because there was one baby food, I swear I saw it has like fructose corn syrup. I was like, what? You're literally feeding your baby junk. So, but these ones are high quality ingredients, very pure ingredients, organic, really, really, really good. And my baby loves it. So you just twist it open and you can squirt it. I usually squirt these meat on top of sweet potatoes or avocados for the baby to eat. Those ones are the ones that I personally give to my babies if I buy packaged food. I try to give my baby whole foods that I make, but I understand it's very hard to like steam the chicken and tear them apart and then this and this. Sometimes it's easier just to buy this packaged food, but at the same time buy high quality packaged food. If you're interested in baby-led weaning, there is actually an app that you could use. I have no affiliation to the app. You can use the paid version of the app, but you don't have to. I actually had to ask my sister-in-law to show me how not to have to pay, but literally like when they ask you for like a payment information, whatever, you just quit. You cannot use the full features of the apps, but that is okay. You don't need the full features of the app. So the app for that is called Solid Start. You can use the paid version, but I just use the free version. So it gives you all of the food and like everything, and it teaches you how to serve this food. So for example, for eggs, like age suggestion 6 months. Is it a common allergen? Yes. Is it iron rich food? Yes. Because after 6 months of age, the milk in breast milk, it's not enough to satisfy a lot of the nutrition needs, especially in like iron. So that's why we want to give like some sort of iron rich food to the baby. So it literally tells you how to introduce and how to serve. Introduction, so like it may be allergens, like how do you cook it, big chunks, 9 months, smaller chunks, 12 months, and you can serve in different ways. And it gives you the nutrition value of the food. Avocado, how do you serve? So it gives you, like at the beginning, you want to give them big avocado strip, and at 9 months, you can give them like a smaller chunks, and then at 18 months, you can give them a spoon so that they can scooch themselves. Tomatoes, how do you serve the tomatoes at the early age? 6 to 9 months, give them big wedgies, and 9 to 8 months, maybe you can give them a little bit like the smaller tomatoes. So it literally tells everything, like how do you feed anything? Like do you steam it first? Like do you recommend, do you not recommend, even for seaweed to ghee to cheese, like how to serve, like it gives you 6 to 9 months. So it literally tells you how to do things, and it's easy. So which one you want to go first depending on which one you're more comfortable with. There are different things in there, and it will literally tells you when to serve, how to serve, what's the best way to serve. So this one is a really good resources if you want to try the baby-led weaning method. Again, it's not the only method that you could use, but your baby definitely develop more hand-eye coordination and refine motor skills if they eat food on their own. So I do really recommend it. That's the only way my baby is willing to eat. I tried this so many months at the beginning. I was actually really frustrated. I was really worried that my baby was not eating solid food at all. The moment I stopped trying spoon feed my baby, I just put everything in front of him. Everything just works like a charm. So try different ways. Every baby is different. Different babies, they develop in different pace. For example, my baby started crawling at 6 months of age. He was able to crawl before he was able to sit by himself. That's crazy. Most of the other babies, like my friends' babies, my nephew, they were able to sit by themselves without support before they were ever like able to close to crawling. Like my baby was able to crawl at 6 months, stand up with support. He pulled himself to standing at like 7 months, but he only started like sitting up by himself around 6.5 months of age. He was able to crawl before he was able to sit up by himself. So every baby is different. If your baby is developing at a different rate compared to the other babies, don't panic. It's not always a bad thing. Talk to your pediatrician, talk to your doctor. Usually a doctor will assess the situation, assess your baby to see like, oh, maybe just try a little bit more exercise for this, try a little bit more exercise in that, and eventually it will all be okay. Alrighty, that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Comment down below what is your baby's favorite solid food. Thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!